Good afternoon. Today I am coming to you live with Angela Anderson from Creestone, Colorado. She is a wealth activator and financial strategist. She helps you to grow your net worth from 6 to 7 figures by reprogramming your money code. She's a financial advisor, wealth management, retirement planning, financial accountant, business consultant, finance consultant, and life coach. She is joining us today, and I am very excited to have her here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section, and we will try to get those answered for you. She's got a wealth of information, so please join us now as we welcome Angela to our show. Hello, Angela. How are you?
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am great. If you could go ahead and introduce yourself to us, let us know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Angela Anderson, and I'm a wealth activator and financial coach. And what that means is I help people completely transform their relationship with money, with abundance, and really create their version of financial freedom. And I'm talking about activating the pot of gold inside of your heart, as well as understanding the actual financial strategies that you need to know how to do in order to grow your wealth, protect your money, and feel financially safe and secure.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about wealth activating. How does that work?
Yeah. So I believe we are all inherently wealthy and that we are all on this earth to enjoy, to partake, to communicate, to come together, and to nurture and grow and share this abundance. And so in my studies and with my experience, it was what I have found is that people have immeasurable wealth on the inside. We just don't always know how to get to that wisdom and how to activate it so that it actually is an everyday part of our lives, so that our knee-jerk reactions aren't reactions that are coming from fear and scarcity and am I going to have enough? Am I enough? Do I deserve this? But more of that wealth mindset. And so it's really important that we look inside our own selves and we change the environment inside of ourselves, because that is going to affect the environment outside. So that simply just means that I help people activate their wisdom so that they can live a life of abundance and freedom and flow and joy. And it's not just about the money, right? Money's a tool. It's an excellent tool, but we have some pretty weird, messed up relationships with it. So we can transform that and transform ourselves, then that freedom and joy is much more available to us.
I agree. It's so funny that you call it a relationship, and I don't think a lot of times that people really relate the two as a person and their money is a relationship. Whenever you think of a relationship, you think of individuals or something in that aspect. But there are many things we have relationships with, and money is one of them. And so tell us what that relationship with money can tend to look like for those who haven't activated it.
Yeah. So there are some money tendencies that I've noticed over the years of working with my clients, and then also just within my continuing education as a wealth activator and financial coach. And so what we have done is distilled it down to money behaviors, money habits, money personalities, money tendencies, however you want to understand it. So the very first one is being a saver or a spender, right? And so there are people that it doesn't matter how much money they earn, they're going to hoard it and they are going to penny pinch and they're going to get the best deal on everything all the time. And it's because it's the best deal, not necessarily what they want. And then we have the spenders. And this reminds me of, I remember I was in some kind of entrepreneur group, right? There's so many of them on Facebook. And this one woman was like, yeah, my first $20,000 month, I went and bought 2 Louis Vuitton bags. And I was like, oh, there's a spender.
Of
People that
course.
have this experience of they get money and then they turn right around and spend it. So we have that as a tendency. And so for all of our listeners here, we can already probably identify, right, where we are. And then the next level we go to are the nerds or the free spirits. And I was on a mastermind call today, and one of the women that spoke up was definitely a free spirit, because she was talking about how if she developed a plan and she started setting really concrete goals for herself, then that would take the magic out of her business. And so when we think about, like, a lot of my clients at some point in our program, we need to sit down and I need to see where your money's going. What are you spending your money on? And I'm not judging you for it. I just want to know, because I'm here to help you. And the free spirits will put it off and put it off and put it off and not want to do it and say, oh my gosh, all these things are coming up for me. And the nerds they create the spreadsheets and they color code everything. And they just, I have a system that you can just put your numbers in and you don't have to think about it. But the nerds will just take it to another level. And so, think if you're in a marriage, right, there's usually a free spirit or a nerd. And the one who pays all the bills and keeps track of all that is probably the nerd. And the free spirit is the one that doesn't really know what's going on. So let's see. Then we've got people who like to spend their money on experiences. And there's people that enjoy spending their money on things. And I think that's a real source of contention in the United States that we see is we see a lot of that, of both of that. And when you think about, okay, what the last time that you spent a big chunk of money on, what was it? Was it for plane tickets? Or was it for a car or a home or furniture? So there's that. The other breakdown is, and this one is a real interesting one because you can directly tie it to how you were raised and how your mom or your dad were around money, is there's quality and quantity. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like the toilet paper hoarders, they're all about the quantity. And so some people I'll spend a lot of money on something for high quality, not be like, I've spent money on coaching that only had like 6 sessions in it, and it was a high dollar because I knew I was getting quality, versus another coach who seemed to be doing something similar as the other one, but I just didn't feel as connected to them that I was going to get what I needed from them. Mm-hmm. Right? So there's that. Then we've got people who, and this is like a root issue, safety versus status. And we think of how many people this year have been like, what the F? And have had to pull themselves back and be like, I'm protecting myself and my own. Like, yeah. And so it's all about safety for them. And I think as a culture, we've actually slid more into that mode than status. Like we were roaring pretty well and going along with status, Instagram worthy things and whatnot. But, COVID kind of put the smackdown on a lot of that.
Yeah. I think right now, like you said, in the time that we're in, because I was looking at the news the other day and they were saying how if people would have knew ahead of time, they would have been able to spend differently and stock up differently. And I go, there wouldn't have been, I don't think for myself, seeing how things were, that people would have been any different. It would have just been faster that they would have spent and faster that they would have stocked up. And there would have still been the shelves at the store would have been empty because of the people that would have went out getting the quantity over the quality. They would have been out trying to stock up because they're scared that this is going to run out and it may not be there. And so, I mean, I don't think we really ever fully know how to prepare, but I think the saving part of it, if you are able to save and you know that you've got a nest egg or a cushion, that you feel a little bit more comfortable knowing if some time a hard time hits or something like that comes along, you are able, and then you don't have to just run out in a spaz and try to make things happen. And so what have you seen during this pandemic as far as people with their finances and coming to you? Are they in a panic? Are they stressing out? Or are they just wanting somewhere to look to invest?
Yeah. So The investment portion is the shiny object. That's what everyone wants to know how to do. They want to know how to grow their money with their money and do it passively. And it's a
Mhm.
very, very attractive option. But what I have found is that when we look under the hood, it's like, wait a minute. No, no, no. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We've got to do X, Y, and Z in
Mhm.
order for it to even make sense for you to go into the investing game. And so, as a whole, as a population, most people were in that camp. They weren't prepared. They don't have emergency funds. They don't have retained earnings for their business. And they have some investments. Maybe it's either forced through work or just a few that are hanging out there that they have really no idea about. And it's going to take them half a day to figure out how to log in and find out where it is anyway. I would say the majority of people are in that camp. Just everything is out of order. There's a junk
Mhm.
drawer full of information on what they should do, but creating a will, making sure your insurances are in order, doing your cash flow planning, and getting serious about that stuff, it doesn't happen until either something inside you snaps or you get something comes along and threatens to financially devastate you, or maybe does, some kind of lawsuit or some kind of pandemic. Or, a lot of my clients actually, there have been a lot of really successful people this year that have done amazing in their coaching business, with their online business, and are making more money than they ever realized was possible for them. And so there's a other side of the coin too of, I've never had any money. I've never had anything in savings. I have no idea what to do because right now it's just sitting in my bank account in a lump. And I know I need to learn to do something with it, but I don't know what it is. And so there's the people that need to be rescued and be pulled out of the water because they're drowning. And then the people that have an abundance but know that if they don't do something with it, they will drown as well.
Yeah.
They're going to get pulled in.
Well, I know that it's been a lot of talk about cash going away. And so people aren't going to be able to use cash. I know even going to the grocery store now, um, they aren't accepting credit cards, or sorry, cash in certain machines. And so you have to go do the line in order to pay cash, and you can only pay cards at the machine. And so have you seen that being an ordeal with people, or them feeling panicky about putting their money into banks or putting their money under a mattress? What are they doing, wanting to do with this money?
It's interesting. That's such a good question because I come from a line of in my family where we have invested and we've had our money in different institutions and have done well with it. And it has roller coastered for sure. The 2008 crash and now with this pandemic. But I find that it's either extreme. It's either the apocalyptic people where you're like, well, screw this. Like nothing's going to matter if the sky falls down anyway.
Mhm.
The cash in your mattress or the cash in your bank is going to have no value. It's going to be all about where's the food, where's the water, where's the ammo. you know? So and then the other extreme is people you know, money is about trust, right? And like, I remember I did this talk a while ago and it was, um, money used to be backed by gold and it's not anymore. It's backed by faith. And so this whole thing, the stock market, we're all buying into it.
Yeah.
A Bitcoin, that's coming online now. In fact, if you were to hire a CPA, in their intake information for you, they will ask you if you are a Bitcoin cryptocurrency investor. Why? Because it's starting to become popular. Why? Because when things become popular, the government wants their hands in them. Why? Because the government spends an F load of money and wants to make sure they get their piece of the pie. Why? Because our deficit is getting higher and higher. And so, um, at the end of the day, though, you have to decide what's going to work best for you.
Right, right.
You
So what do
know?
you think, what are you seeing with people with 401ks now? Are they trying to cash in on those? Are they taking that money and reinvesting it other places? I mean, and what would you say would be a good ideal for those type of people that are looking at, well, let me get my 401k out of here because jobs may be going away or we don't know what's going to happen next.
Mm. So I am not as experienced with 401ks because I work with entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs, we don't have the traditional 401k. We have investment plans similar to that, but there's no freaking employer match or any of those things that honestly, people who are employed, it's like you don't even know. Like you don't even know how good you have it in some ways. And so, but here's what I've seen, and it doesn't even matter that there's a pandemic going on. People have done this before, they're doing it now, and they're going to continue to do it in the future if they don't start to form a plan around their money and their vision and what they want to do and understand what the pros and cons are. And so this is what I've seen. Yeah, I've seen people flip out, cash out their 401k. It's a 10% penalty, plus you pay the taxes. I think that is one of the most um, reckless decisions to make unless you are about to go bankrupt or become homeless. I would never ever cash out your retirement. And the reason is you cannot outrun compound interest. You just can't do it. And unless you have a massive windfall. But last I checked, only less than 1% of the population is able to invent the next Tesla or, or that kind of thing that's going to get
Yes.
them super freaking rich. And so I have also heard stories of people cashing out 401ks to buy real estate because they think that real estate is going to get better returns. Again, very volatile. I'd never, ever ask a client to do that or support them to do that. Um, what I do, what I do recommend are 401k rollovers. Okay, because this is what happens is oftentimes when you've got a 401k in a company and then they're the ones choosing the stocks that are being invested in. Oftentimes, when you roll that 401k over into another mutual funds with an independent investor, like a fiduciary advisor away from your workplace, they'll further diversify it even more. Because and so what I have found is like I've had very good returns. Like my husband's about to roll over a 401k and we're going to take it completely out of the work and what their people are doing and put it with mine because my people have always worked with us. My family is entrepreneurs with all kinds of things going on and done really well by us with a lot more diversification. So that's the difference. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, I just don't do it. Just, max out your retirement. The recommended number is take 15% of your income and apply it to your investments. But that's provided that you've got enough savings, you've got your debt under control, or in a perfect scenario, totally paid off. And then investing makes sense and it doesn't stress you out. That's another
Yeah.
thing is people get stressed out because they're like, oh, my money's tied up in my 401k, blah, blah. Well, it's because they put the cart before the horse
Mhm.
and they don't have the savings they need. And all their income is going towards interest payments. And that's what makes it stressful and hard. There's an order to things.
I think also too with this pandemic, there's been an influx of new entrepreneurs and new internet businesses, startups, and new coaches coming on the scene. And so, with that being said, what would you tell these new entrepreneurs that's coming out there that are getting started as far as making their money work for them and why they should come and work with you? What can you tell them so that way that they can have a better understanding of what they should do with their money and why they should come and talk to you about making sure that money is used wisely?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is you need to get control of your cash flow because before you know it, you may be like how I was hiring coach after coach and buying program after program and dumping all my money back in my business, that after a while, I just started to become angry, tired, and resentful. And my business turned into a cash eating monster. And if I had at least been like, wait a minute, this is the percentage of money I should put back into my business. This is the percentage of money I need to pay myself, no matter what, even if I got half a client that month. Like, this is how much I should take home. This is how much I still need to be investing in my retirement accounts, in my mutual funds. So what you have to do is, no matter how much money you're making, even if you're getting started, is you have to have a financial plan that is going to take care of your whole life. Don't just go dump money back in your business. And I understand that there's going to be some times where you're going to turn around and be like, I need to pay 10K for that thing, because you are betting on yourself and the return on investment that you're going to get. But I can guarantee you that you're going to be able to sleep so much better at night if you know that you are still on track to meet your biggest financial goals, which is taking the liability and so much pressure off of your business and making sure you're funding the most important parts of your own life. And, if you've been on this planet for over 25 years, you're good enough. And I think that's another thing too, is that we tend to get sucked into paying for this and paying for that and buying this and buying that and more coaching, and everyone out there is telling you that you need it, and you do. But I think it's too much of a handicap, and that's what causes so much financial bleeding for entrepreneurs. Is we think we have to go pay someone to learn this and then go learn that and then hire an assistant, and it's like, no. Do what you need to do. Hopefully you get some really good advice in the beginning and make it work. Get yourself profitable, and then figure out how to slice up your pie so that you don't put any extra strain on your life. And so that's why you need to do this stuff now, because if you don't have financial literacy, and if you also have money blocks about your ability to bring in the big bucks and have consistent cash flow and clients and impact and all that stuff, then get some help. And that is exactly what I specialize in, so that you can shine, relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned something, and I know we don't have a whole lot of time, but I just want to touch on this before we go any further. You said money block. That has to do with what? Your mindset?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just a popular way of giving money the resting bitch face and being like, nope, of not allowing it in your life. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I can understand where that is coming from, because for a long time that was one of my biggest problems. I can coach everybody else, can tell them what to do and how to do it, but for some reason I cannot bring myself to putting a price on this thing and charging people because they need this help and I want to help them. But at the same time, while I'm giving all this free help out and people are taking your ideas and your information and capitalizing on it, and you're being drained and depleted and not making a dime off of it, it's like, you got to get it together, sister. You've got to get out of your own way. And there are so many people that are like, well, I don't feel like I should get paid for it. Well, you know what? If you've invested the time and the energy and you've done the research and you've got the knowledge, then you should be getting compensated for that. And I don't think that people get that. And so those blocks can just distort them and make them feel unworthy of, well, that's too much. And people, like you said, it's not about paying someone, it's about the quality that you're investing in. And so if you are going to get a coach, if you are going to get a mentor or a wealth advisor, someone that's going to help, then you need to get someone that is honestly going to be able to pour into you so you can get something out of that. And I know from the talks that we've had, the things that you've done, the people that you've worked with, you are able to make that thing happen. And so I would recommend you guys, if you are looking for a way to understand your money blocks, to understand your financial obligations and what's going on in your world of not activating your wealth, I would say give Angela a call. She's got proven track record. She comes from a long line of entrepreneurs that know how to make money work. And now she's even got her husband coming over on her side to take his money and invest. So if you don't do anything else, reach out and try to get a consultation with her so you can at least have a start to know where you go from here, because the future is now. We can't wait till tomorrow. We can't keep putting off because we don't have a clue what may happen. And you can't just toss it up in the air and be like, oh, well, whatever happens, happens. Because once it's all over, life is going to continue to go on, correct, Angela? And you're going to need something to fall back on. So is there anything else, any other nuggets that you'd like to share? Because I think you gave a lot of great information and I've been taking notes, and I hope everybody else has been taking notes, because this is some good information.
Yeah. So, sometimes I talk with people and they're like, I'm not motivated by money. And I understand, I get that. And at the end of the day, though, you get to a certain point where something just snaps inside of you and you wake up. For me, it was about 42, 43 years old when I realized that, crap, I'm not getting any younger. And I'm watching my parents age and get their stuff together and their will and their estate and their trust, and keeping me informed on where they put their papers and how things are going to go. And for a time, they were traveling and enjoying their retirement, right? But then they'd have to stop everything and go get a freaking operation. And they're healthy people. And they have great health insurance too. And it's like, I don't want to hear that crap. Wealth is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Let's just cut through all of the BS. You do need to care about money. You do need to care about getting rich and abundant, because it's not just about you. It's about your family. Mm-hmm. It's about your clients. It's about your life. It's about your legacy. And honestly, who wants to get older and be in pain and not have dignity and not have the power to be able to make the decisions that you need to make? That's my vision here. Oh, I'm all about like spending money on food and buying the clothes you like, and having the things that cost money that you enjoy. And who cares if you like a little bling, a little flash? That's fine too. But at the end of the day, I honestly, in my heart, I don't think that people are greedy. I think that they can act greedy because of their fear, right? And their lack mentality. I'm not going to get enough. I'm not going to have enough. Mm-hmm. But I really honestly believe at the end of the day, we are good people. We have good intentions, but you have to take ownership and do your part. And once you do, then the floodgates open to you and you can feel more relaxed and in your, in that root chakra, that safety. And you'd be surprised at how generous then you become because you have the money.
Yeah.
And, you can be incredibly generous with your time, with your money, with your ideas, with your gifts. And so don't even talk to me if you say you don't care about money. We're not on the same planet right now, and that's fine. But I just hope that you can hear what I'm saying, that it is important. We don't need to obsess about it. We have to stop stressing about it. And I just want to give you that plan and help you. And I have it. I've developed it. It works. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree with everything you're saying, because you said we should live in abundance and we should live in wealth. And that's what our Creator tells us. He wants us to live in abundance and live in wealth and to have all these things. And so what I do is try to help you to understand the renewing of your mind to get your mindset straight. And you help to line up the people to activate the wealth, to understand that these things go hand in hand. And that's where the relationship comes in. You have to understand that wanting something out of life and doing something about it are two different things. And so we can want to change some things, but we have to do something to change some things. And not having money can stunt your growth. I mean, seriously, not having the necessities, the things that you need, not being able to, for some people, it may be going to the store to buy bread. For others, it may be a new pair of shoes. But whatever it is, the lack of that financial substance is what holds us back. And so we have to look at money in a different way. We have to look, because people will say, well, money is is the root of all evil. Well, no, I believe the lack of money is the root of all evil, because the lack of it can tend to lead you to do things that you may not have thought about doing had you had money. And I've been to so many funerals where there's no legacy, there's no insurance policy, there's no burial. And when someone says they're getting cremated, I'm like, yeah, okay. Why is that? Because that's the cheapest route to go. And you don't want to wait until that day when you have to stick one of your loved ones in a coffin to go, oh, now I get it. Because it's hard. It's hard on you. And that's even more stressful. So you guys, go check out Angela. I want her to, before we leave, she's going to give you some information to contact her. So that way, and again, like she said, if you don't feel like money is a problem for you, and you're not interested in it, and you don't care about growing your legacy or having something to be able to be comfortable in, because we need that. We need money is substance to help us to get the things that we need and have the things that we want. And so if you are serious and if you are real about activating your wealth, then give Angela a call, reach out to her so that she can help you, because she's an expert. She knows what it looks like. She knows how to make it happen. Angela, you have anything else?
Yes. So I want to be really clear with you all is I have some free things and I have some paid things, right? So you can reach out to me. I have millionaire manifestation mantras, and I can even go on the comments here and give you all the link. It's
Yeah.
free mantras. So this is chanting, praying. This is basically fertilizing the rich garden of your mind so that you can start to bring in wealth. The other thing that I have is a 911 money makeover at millionairemoneychat.com. Now, this is if you're serious about getting help. So it's not just a free call where I coach you. It's where you and I can talk about actually working together and putting your plan together. When you book that call, I send you a bunch of information and resources to look at ahead of time so that you can prepare yourself. So the call is not this hour-long thing. It's, do you have any questions about how I work? What's your specific circumstances? This is what I think we should do. And then after that, we can talk about, do we do my 90-minute wealth activation and just call it a day? Do we do the 1-month immersion, or do we do the 8-week immersion? So if you haven't been my client in the past, those are the options available to you to become my client. And then after we go through that process, often a lot of my clients stay on and they work with me on a regular basis because it's just so meaningful and so impactful to them, and to me too. I love it. Isn't it like a dream to be able to retain your best clients and have them on your calendar every month? So that's available to you as well. But I just want to be really clear. You can jump on my email list. You can friend me on Facebook. I post a lot of content. You can get all my free stuff. And when you're ready to get serious and invest in yourself and go into a totally different space with your wealth growing, then you can book that call, or you can reach out to me and get information about my programs.
Amen. Amen. Well, Angela, I thank you. If you would type that information in the comments, and then they'll be up. And I'll also post a link on my website so that way people can reach you that way, and you'll have access to this video if people need to get back in contact with you or whatever. But again, be serious. I plant seeds, she fertilizes them. Come on, people, let's grow together. Let's grow this wealth so that we can have a legacy and so that we can have something to look back on, and our children and their children's children will know that we did something to invest in our futures. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you for giving us your wisdom and your knowledge on wealth activation. And I look forward to talking to you and working with you more in the future. Thank you, everybody that joined in today. And for those of you, we've got one person that said they needed help, please, but they didn't want to leave a comment or anything. They just said they wanted help, please. So I can get you their information, or or if you leave that information, they'll be able to reach out to you. So I know that there's other people that are watching, but sometimes people are just scared to speak up. So they may contact you afterwards, or if they contact me, I will put them in contact with you. But thank you again for joining in, and we look forward to seeing you next time. As always, remember, you were created with a purpose. God bless.